more turnovers and plus-minus on turnovers than the second-place team, the Packers, who have only 88 in plus-minus. You've got to be crazy to think you can go into that place, turn the ball over, and ever beat that team.
And that's where you figure out that Mahomes is human, right? As good as he is a young guy heading into Foxborough against the likes of Brady and Belichick, and that's when the mistakes happen. You could see it all in the first half. Got better in the second half, didn't have enough time to have a full game feeling like he could take on the Patriots and beat them.
It also helps that the rules are totally different for Tom Brady, and he's playing a different game than everyone else.
Not a single penalty!
And when he gets tackled at the 9-yard line, it's not a tackle, and it takes him a full month to get to the end zone, but nobody's allowed to touch him because it's going to be a 15-yard penalty.
Brady sucks all the oxygen out of the room. You know, it's Gronkowski who made it happen at the very end. When the game is on the line, he got it past and
Gronk
for
did
about
do
40
a lot of
yards.
special stuff, but how about how he behaved like a trained polar bear here on this call where Brady is just telling him, hey, Gronk, get your head out of your bleed.
Were we too quick to trust the new Browns?
Who trusted the new Browns? Did you trust it? You fool! You trusted the new Browns. The Chargers are really exceptional. They've lost twice this season, and they've lost to what we believe to be the overwhelming teams in the league. The Chiefs and the Rams. No shame in that. They went on the road. This is the best team Phillip Rivers has had in a while, and they showed it last night. That running back, Melvin Gordon, you saw now. Now you see why it is that Gurley and Gordon went where they did in a league filled of disposable running backs, because those two guys run differently than everyone else.
Yeah, I almost feel bad for Browns fans because you remember when the season started and they got a tie and they were like, this is the best start we've had in years. Things are going to be different now. And then the hype took over, and then they got the free beer from the Bud Light fridges, and Baker Mayfield came in with the swagger. And now the expectations are higher than they should be for a team that won one game in 2 years. Slow your roll and let them be excited about what looks like a promising quarterback and a future with a couple wins a year at the very least. But 10, 11 wins, overthinking it, man. That's how you end up leaving Browns fans disappointed when they should be excited about what's going on.
Well, I guess Hugh Jackson, he won't have to worry about bandwagon fans anymore.
Right. Snoop Dogg came around, bandwagon fans. He said, don't forget Johnny Manziel come lately.
Is Todd Gurley the most important players on the Rams?
Player is what it says there, but old people tend to throw in S's at the end of words when they're not necessary. They've got a defensive lineman who's as good as anyone is at anything in the sport. But you don't have to talk about Aaron Donald's greatness. This guy is the most versatile piece that they have. He's got more touchdowns than anybody, and he is the key to everything that happens there. Jared Goff, his first season in the league, is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. His evolution is at least in part because they've got Woods at wide receiver who people are sleeping on. That offensive line is very good, and that running back is out of this world.
Yeah, this is a team that's so good that it's tempting to try to pin all the success on one person because it makes for a fun topic. But in general, if you're that good, you've got to have a lot of guys like that. It's Goff, it's Donald, it's Gurley. And especially when you look across the country at the Giants, at Saquon Barkley, who can have a game where he puts up 100 and 100 and they lose by 21 points, that tells you all you need to know about a dominant running back. You need to have the holes that that offensive line is creating. You need to have a quarterback and wide receivers that the other team legitimately believes you're going to go to instead of that running back on those plays. It all comes together to make for a team that's very good, and obviously Gurley is a massive part of that.
And one of the things you also need is a team that's terrible at stopping the run, the way that the Broncos were last week against Isaiah Crowell when they allowed 200 yards to him, and the way they were this week when they allowed 200-plus yards to Gurley.
You know the only person who can stop Todd Gurley?
Who?
Jeff Fisher. Oh. That's it. That's the only guy in the NFL.
He's trying. He's trying to climb back in the league just to stop Todd Gurley.
Should the headlines be that the Cowboys won or that the Jaguars lost?
All right, the headline is what it said there, but old people add S's to the end of things. Cowboys, I don't care about their 3-3. I could put that in the dumpster with about 14 teams in the league that are the same kind of 3-3. But when the Jags are giving up this kind of point total to an offense that's been constipated all season, after giving up all the yards you could want with the Chiefs last week, you do have to wonder how translatable from year to year in a violent sport something like pass rush is on defense. They used to get pressure with 4. They didn't yesterday, and you have to wonder, the ravages on the human body, is it sustainable to have a great defense over many years? Because that's in question now. And now Jacksonville, which was banking on Blake Bortles to give them just enough, needs more than that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The headline will probably be the Cowboys because they're America's team. So even though that offensive output was a total aberration and their 3-3 essentially will mean nothing come the stretch of the football season, we will be talking about how they're back when we should be talking about what's happened to the Jags. And you're right, they're running a ton more zone. Are they seeing something with their cornerbacks that we don't that's making them worry about allowing that secondary to be in charge while they let their pass rush go after the quarterback? Instead, they're letting other teams sit back and choose, pick and pass all over the field. Why are they doing that? Why did they go away from what got them so much success last year? This is something obviously the experts will have to tell me as they're looking at tape and telling me why they're doing this. Because clearly, you're not going to depend on Blake Bortles to give you more than just a little bit. And if your defense is doing what they've been doing, then you're inconsequential as the Jaguars.
Why are we talking about this game? We should be talking about how the Dolphins, they kicked the out of the Bears. That's what
we
I
should
like
be talking about that. He's a Dolphin fan. She's a Bears fan. Dolphins fumbled on the half-yard line in overtime and still won the game somehow.
What about?
Bring. Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't have time to talk about this? The segment's over? Okay, I'll let them know. Thanks.
Who
hey,
was
guys.
calling?
It was the producers. We don't have time to talk about this game. Have to move on.
Coming up next on Highly